Someone might ask, are addictions as a result of trauma, or are they things we just do to make ourselves feel better? Now, to not generalize it, to not make it seem like, yes, everyone that is addicted to a substance or whatever is traumatized. But mostly, I mentioned earlier, which I'll still go about it again. I penned some things down. I said the symptoms of how to know someone who is battling with trauma is withdrawal, addictions, trouble trusting, isolation from crowd, intrusive thoughts, irritability, and angry outbursts. So I already spoke on withdrawals and how it works. Now I want to just give a snippet on addiction and how trauma can encourage substance abuse. And one thing about whenever people hear things like addiction, they always think that addiction is only substance abuse. Addiction could be anything. You can be addicted to your phone. You can be addicted to your TV. You can be addicted to anything at all. Anything that takes your that makes you feel, that gives you that temporary dopamine, that gives you that temporary feeling of excitement and happiness, but doesn't give you long term feeling of happiness, is addiction. Substance abuse is temporary. If in a few hours you feel sober, you watch explicit videos. In a few hours, in a few minutes, you have gotten to that place where you climax and you're okay. So addiction, in as much as sometimes it comes from indiscipline, it comes from lifestyle, it comes from a lot of sources, but mostly when it comes to trauma, a lot of times some people, probably because they've been hurt too much, they tend to tilt to things that makes them happy. And most of the times those things that make them happy are not always things that should make them happy. The things that make them feel better. And the weird thing about these addictions is they are not long term, they are temporary. They only make you feel good in few after few minutes. They only make you feel good after few hours. They don't make you feel good. They don't even make you feel good up to a day. They don't even make you feel good up to 2 days or 1 week. Just temporal, just a temporal feeling. Now, what are ways that you could say addictions could affect, or trauma, sorry, could affect a person to the point of addiction? Now, let me give an example. Take, for example, a young girl that was raped or abused at a very young age. One thing about abuse is it opens your mind up for things around that area. What do I mean? If you were raped, now some girls that were raped, yeah, they tend to like older men, especially when they were raped at a young age. Some of them tend to like older men. Some of them tend to become sex freaks. Some of them tend to become aggressive. They want to be in charge. Now, we begin to look at BDSM, although I'll come to that's much later, but we need to look at people who like aggressiveness on bed. Most people who like those kinds of things were abused. They are trying to get that feeling back. No one wakes up in the morning and requires pain. You wake up in the morning and this morning you just crave someone flogging you to give you pleasure. No, it doesn't always work like that. Now, most times we always talk about women being raped, but we don't always talk about men being abused, because you see a lot of young guys who maybe when they were young they had one maid in the house or something, or an auntie or an uncle or something, and they molest them at a very young age when they don't even know what sex is or what all those kind of things are. And you see them tilting towards that. that angle. They don't want to go contrary to that. They want to still be going that way. Now that's where addiction starts. Now I think years back I met a friend. I had a friend who he was very much into smoking illicit things and all that. Now everyone was always, how our mentality now, especially in Africa. A lot of times people will say, don't go close to that person, that guy is a bad guy, da, 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 da. But what I always notice about this guy is he doesn't go out, he doesn't really have friends, he's always on his own, he's always calm. So one day I just spoke to him just randomly. I think I came to spread out my clothes and I just had small talk with him. And I figured out that this guy is a very intelligent guy. So I said, this guy cannot be that bad. So from there, we started talking and everything. And I found out that the person that introduced him to smoking illicit stuff was his sister. Now, in that kind of position now, are you going to say this person is traumatized? No. But the thing is, a lot of times, trauma has a way of making you tilt to things that will give you a temporary feeling that distracts your mind from that pain, that distracts your mind from that feeling of hurt. Now, you see some girls that they don't care who you are, they just want to have sex with you. They don't care who you are, they just want to do this. You see some people, they 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 go on explicit sites just to watch random things, just to give themselves that temporary feeling of comfort. Now, in as much as those things give you those temporary comfort you're looking for, it doesn't make you feel better in the long run. It doesn't give you that sense of safety. Most of the times you even do it and you find yourself asking yourself, why did I even do this? You find yourself asking yourself, why on earth did I even go as far as engaging in such activity? Although this is more like an introductory video to this addiction, because addiction has phases and so many topics under it. But this is just an introductory video to when we're. I think that's going to be the next thing I'm going to post after this. Addictions and how trauma engineers it. So I think probably tonight or tomorrow I'm going to be more explicit about it and explain it furthermore.